All right, here we go. Chapter 4 in Forge of Darkness, book one of the Carcanis trilogy. This is another continuation of my deep dive and looking at my notes, trying to figure everything out, right? Let's see here. I wanted to look up Spinok Durav because his name sounds so familiar, and yeah, I just didn't know if it was completely yeah, he's in Toad Hounds, he's in Assail. All right, so I thought so. He missed the Panian War and the Siege of Kapistan because he was away hunting a dragon. Okay. That's right. Okay. So, yeah, Spinek Durov. Oh, now it's coming back to me. All right, so now we have an early appearance of Spinok Durov. Here, a young guy in Carcanis at the beginning of chapter 4. So at the beginning of chapter 4, let's see, Faror, what are the names? All these names. Hend, of House Hend, yeah. And she's traveling with Spinok and their cousins. They're attracted to each other, which is interesting. But they are out patrolling the Glimmer Fate Plains, I believe it is, and they are contemplating the mystery of the Vitir, or VITR, Vir, however you say that. I don't know if T's silent or not. Once again, these names. So they're out there. They're discussing stuff. Her thoughts are mostly in the forefront here, and she's thinking about the poet Galan, who we think is actually telling this whole story based upon, remember, the prelude way back then. But she's thinking about what stuff that he wrote, and she feels that he had the ability to speak directly to each and every listener, each and every reader. And isn't that what every writer wants to do? Isn't that part of their goal? Is I'm writing this because I want to speak to you, the reader, personally, on some level. And so I think that's what I feel Erikson's trying to capture there, and in general in the whole series. So they talk. They bring up Mother Dark, and they bring up that Galan wrote, "In unrelieved darkness waits every answer." Is that what Mother Dark is searching for? Is she searching for answers? We don't know yet. But she also pontificates that by the fire's light, no answers will be found. Actually, Spinok says that back to her. And she says, "It seems you understood Galan well enough." That's pretty good. The little commentary on writing and what things mean, and light and dark, answers and no answers. Do we need these answers? Interesting questions. And so then we go to Captain Fenara Stone, who was part of this. They call them wardens, these people who range out and just check stuff out, right? So Captain Fenara Stone is their captain. She comes across a creature washed up from this Vitir Sea, which has never happened before. Everything that touches this sea is eaten up by the acidic nature of it, and so she's wondering what manner of creature this could be. So, unfortunately, the thing somehow comes alive, goes after her, and attacks her. She gets away, and she yeah, she let's see, she's contemplating the stars above. She's contemplating. I mean, this is after a harrowing event of getting away from this. We can only guess it's like some kind of undead creature or something like that, or just a creature that lives by sorcery alone, rather than having an intact body that's not eaten away by acid. Um, anyway, she gets into this contemplative mood, which all these Teist Andy seem to do because, um, I wonder if that's what we're doing now today. People who at the cusp of an empire. Is that what they do? Is that what the Romans did? You know. Anyways, so she's saying chaos began the war that was life. The sun opened its eye and so slashed into all existence, dividing the worldly realm into light and dark, and they too warred with one another, reflecting the struggle of life itself. And of course, that's the whole thing here is this struggle between light and dark, and it kind of paints light as the bad guy, chaos, but chaos is life. So who's the bad guy? Yeah, don't really know. Um, she could not comprehend the existence they described. If there was neither a time before nor a time after, then was not the moment of creation eternal and yet forever instantaneous? A little philosophizing on our by our warden here. And she also lets us know, we find out some information here, that Mother Dark, before embracing darkness, was a mortal Teist woman, little different from Fanara herself. That's interesting news. So, um, Mother Dark ascended to her position. How? Uh, now they call her goddess, and everybody's supposed to kneel before her and all that stuff. So, um, let's see. Back to Fanaris. No, back to Faroa Hend and Spinnock. They're traveling. They find out that wolves are keening in the night. They're worried about their captain. They come upon some dead wolves. They find their captain. She's wounded. Something has walked out of the sea, she tells them. Of course, that's confusing. That doesn't make any sense. But they're staunch soldiers. They believe their captain. They travel. They travel on. They're looking around. They come to decisions about what their purpose out here is, what their goal, their mission. So they're doing that. And once again, it's mentioned someone has come from the sea. It's repeated. That's a really big deal. And finally, the captain is really wounded, so she's like finally like she's out for the count. She's needs medical attention. She's really bad off, and it finally becomes up to those two soldiers, those two wardens there, to figure out what to do. So Faroa Ren says, "You know what? You take her back. I'm ordering you to, and I'm gonna go check out what's happened because we need to know for the sake of the realm, or what have you." She says, "Yeah, the captain will be furious, but the responsibility is mine. She can save her Aya from me." And she had expostulated earlier that she's supposed to be betrothed to this war hero back home, way back in the Carcanis, right? And so does so that she's wondering to herself, or Spinnock, maybe Spinnock's wondering, does she indeed have this need to get away from that, the pomp and circumstance, the arranged marriage? does she have some deep down some kind of death wish or something like that? That's a question that gets brought up. I think something I was wondering about. Um, and she follows the trail of whatever killed these wolves, because something killed them. It wasn't her captain. Her captain was attacked by wolves, but then got away, and then this whatever came out of the sea killed the wolves, and she's following the trail. She's following it south. She notes that the stranger, whatever it was, traveled through the night, and that it didn't rest. So this is odd. Um, and she notes that changes are coming to this world, and that is because of what she's the strange things she's seen so far. Finally, she comes across this very young, slim woman, um, and golden tresses, and she's like, she immediately assumes that this person is an Azathani, Azathane, however you say that. I just call them Azaths when I'm reading. um, and the woman speaks back to her and says, I know your language, but it's not mine. Azathani, I know that word. And she says, Azat Drevlid Naratara Azathani, the people who were never born. That's what that means. That's very interesting. The people who were never born. So, where'd they come from? Very interesting. So, this particular Azath person cannot remember who she is, where she's from, what she's doing. She recalls nothing. So Faroa names her Triss. Of course, those of you who have read the 16 big books uh, are maybe familiar with that. And yeah, so I need to drink a little coffee. Anywho, this is the origin of Triss, even though Triss doesn't even know what her origin is. And then Triss copies Faroa's with magic. She makes a steed for herself out of the surrounding vines or whatever. She makes clothing for herself. This is Faroa says this is godlike sorcery here. This isn't normal. So she's a little frightened, and she says, "I will travel with you to Carcanis, where rules Mother Dark." And she says, "Oh, that's a nice title." It's kind of funny, right? All right. So what's up with this Azath, whose memory is gone? Maybe that's what she says, anyways. So then we switch to, let's see here. We switch to Sharanus Ankhadu. And this is a part of the entourage of Osirk and Hunral Osirk, who is the son of Urisander, the war hero. It's all part of that that whole entourage and the vanguard, and it's actually Ilgast Rend, who is part of this entourage, who happens to be Faroa's brother or something like that. Yeah. And let's see here. They're traveling to Carcanis, I believe. I forget what's happening here. Or are they traveling to Urisander? Let me see here. All right, as she wrote now, yeah, and the war hero Kagamandratulus was the one who's supposed to be the betrothed of Farahand, who's out, the warden out in the wilds there. And she's thinking about that, and she's has pity for her fellow soldier, and yeah, that section here, I was kind of, when I finished it, because she was like, "Show me the path of your longing, and I will take your hand and guide you down against true friends." So is she truly a friend of Aurora, or is she up to something else? I couldn't figure out her motivation, and I said, "Why? Why did she say that?" So maybe that'll come clear later on. Now we got a new POV. We got Ilghast Ren's POV. Captain Hunral is riding with Mossberg, the son of Lord Urisander. And he is worried about the hedonistic undercurrents of this empire of Mother Dark having a consort. He's really does not like this these extravagant displays. He thinks there's a rot at the core here. He thinks it's a cult. Mother Dark is a cult, and that there's the religious ecstasy is actually just sexual excess. So he doesn't like all this stuff. He's very it's very conservative, this guy. But is he right? That's the question. He doesn't like Draconis. And he thinks Mother Doc should marry properly as soon as possible, ASAP. It's kind of funny. But the thing he says here, which is interesting, is until the day she found the gate. Like he says, Mother Doc was a beautiful, vivacious possessor of unimaginable strengths and unexpected frailties, a woman like any other. Until the day she found the gate. So this is the darkness. This darkness was many things. Most of all, it was selfish. So that's very interesting. So it Mother Darkness's ascension into godhood seems to be tied into this gate to darkness, and so that's what Chapter 4 set down. It was the event in this chapter was, of course, the Azath coming from the sea. The rest of the chapter was kind of set up. It was kind of just filling us in on some of the political stuff, some of the philosophy of this empire, of these Tystandi, and so it was yeah. So we had a couple new characters, and of course a big new character, and then a couple of ruminations of characters we had been already introduced to. So 134 pages in here, we got new characters again. Typical Erikson stuff there. And yeah, so interesting information about Mother Dark, interesting information about whoever Triss is. And that's it for today. We'll be moving on to Chapter 5. Probably start it tomorrow, but we'll see. We'll see how long it takes me to get through it and get to the next video here. All right, so that's Chapter 4. And be good to each other. And thank you as always.